nurtures us to have bright and healthy mind so that we could become great future leaders.
Look closely. Listen carefully.
You don't know how those simple things you miss until they're gone.
Feel the magic. Discover the world around you.
Suitable for general family viewing.
Hello viewer, welcome to Chungu Jamii. This is a show where we give you happiness, hope and joy inside of your heart. I am your host. My name is Betty Akuku. Today we are going to be talking about forgiveness in the family. I have a beautiful lady in the studio who is very smart as well. Is going to be discussing with us this topic. Please be part of us. Our SMS line is 21144. We are also on YouTube, GBS Kenya. Please stay on with us. Welcome, my dear.
Hi viewers, my name is Winnie Mora. I'm a gospel minister. And yeah, looking forward to this exciting discussion.
Good.
Yeah.
So, what about forgiveness in the family? Like I said, truly when we are living our lives, everybody wants the smooth way, the things that you have planned. You do not want interference from anyone with anything that you are doing.
Yeah.
But there are people who have no bumps and roadblocks. They just come and bump into you, and you're like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
what am I supposed to do with such kind of people? Kill them? Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Very interesting. You know, as a disciple of Christ, the one thing that I always say, when you follow Christ, you actually realize he has the answers to all these questions we're asking.
Okay.
And Christ said, Jesus said actually when in Luke 17, and he talks about offenses. It is impossible not to have offenses. So if you're living on the face of this earth,
You should expect.
oh, please expect
That
offenses.
some people are going to bump
They're
on
coming.
you,
They're
even
coming.
into your heart.
Even when you're doing good things.
Okay.
They're coming.
Even when you're doing good things.
Yes.
Oh, people
Yes.
are so weird.
Yes.
I hope you're not.
And there's
Okay.
and there's no one who's never been offended, and possibly no one who's never offended anyone.
Okay.
That's the one thing we need to be clear about. Yeah? No one who's never been offended.
Everyone
and
is
no
a
one.
victim.
If Christ has forgiven us our iniquities and he's actually said that there's no sin that he cannot forgive, it may be as red as crimson, but he will wipe it away for us. Yeah? Who are we not to forgive?
But you know, this is Jesus.
Yes.
This is Jesus.
Yes.
And we are human here on earth, right?
Yeah.
So what is the possibility of this actually in our state when we are so angry and when we are so hurt? You know, because if you say that they made a prayer, Jesus increased our faith, then what does this mean? There are a lot of people who are praying and reading the Bible on a daily basis.
Yeah.
I don't know whether their faith has been able to grow, because there are bishops and pastors as well,
Yeah.
who are also holding grudges, who are also unable to forgive. And in my opinion, they are reading a lot of Bible and a lot of prayer.
Yeah.
Yeah, so did their faith increase by doing those works?
So my question is, when they're reading the Word of God and they're meditating on it,
Yeah.
are we reading it amiss?
This is not
Most of the
reading amiss. When
times-
you're reading, you're reading.
No. A lot of times, what is your motive for reading the Bible? Are you asking God, talk to me? Are you asking God, illuminate my mind, illuminate my spirit, let me hear you clearly, talk to me? Or am I doing it as a religious duty of confirming? You know the way people have this thing, oh, I've read the Bible, I've read it 10 times, you know, I've gone through all the 66 all the 66 books. You know, that kind of reading the Bible for the sake of doing it. But are you reading the Bible because it is God speaking to you? Are you reading the Bible and allowing God to speak to you, allowing God to minister to you? Because people do things for different reasons. So what is your motive? What is the state of your heart? Why are you doing it? And when you deal with why you are doing it, then you can clearly know why things are not happening. And why you are still unable to forgive and you're still holding grudges, because it only takes Christ for you to forgive. And that's why it's hard for a non-believer to forgive. Let's be honest. Yeah? But a believer, it takes the grace of God for you to forgive. The other question is forgetting. That could be where the problem comes in. But forgiving, you are encouraged to forgive.
Because when people put wounds into your heart, they leave a mark, they leave a stain. I wonder what is it that can clear up this stain completely, so that even though you see them, you don't feel like killing them. You know, what is it that can clearly get rid of this spot that people live inside of you when they do certain evil against you?
So the stain might not go away. That's the ironic part about it. Yeah, and I'm talking from probably experience.
The way people relate in the marriage, sisters and sisters, siblings, you know, sisters and brothers, the way people relate. People also bump on each other and step on each other badly and hardly. And along the way, because they have heartaches, how are they supposed to forgive each other?
And still live with each other.
Yes, and still live with each other.
Yeah.
Because this is family.
It's like asking if a husband and a wife live with each other and they commit infidelity or do other things, how do they continue living with each other? It's a very interesting question, because when I started, I said, when you live in this world, it's impossible not to offend. Yet it's also impossible not to offend. Yeah? So it's a balancing equation. So I'll give you an example, and it's by no means a true example. So if you have two sisters who one is dating, then the other one slices or takes away the boyfriend to the other sister, and probably gets married to the man. The other sister still remains single, yet she is the one who met the guy first and they had a relationship. How do you live with that? You just talked about a mark before you went on a break. There's that pain that remains. There's that mark that remains. And it keeps reminding you.
The easiest thing to do, Winnie, is to just kill them, slice them off also, so that you were by yourself, you were done with this issue, and you're never getting back there again.
So you kill them because you created them? Or?
No, that's not the reason why you kill. People don't kill because they created. People kill because they're so mad they can't take it in. So, and you want to get rid of it, the fastest and easiest way to do.
That's the enemy's way of doing it. But what is God's way of doing it? The mark will probably not go, because you will see them and you will remember. And it takes God for you to forget.
If you don't see them?
If you don't see them, out of sight, out of mind. But somehow, something will remind you.
Like what?
Something will remind you. I mean, one day you'll just think about the good old days with your boyfriend. You're like, oh my God, she took him away from me. So you will still be reminded to some extent. But how then do you deal with it? And it takes God for you to deal with it. First, that pain, God could turn it to your gain. And God will give you the strength and possibly give you someone else that fits within your life.
God will do that immediately?
Not necessarily. But God will do that if you believe and seek in Him.
There are lots of people who are in that space where their hearts are so wounded, they want to burst, they want to kill themselves. They still know there is something they need to accomplish on earth before they go to the next world. But the pains that they're going through, the things that people have caused them, don't allow them to live peacefully on earth. You know, how do they manage to live with these kinds of heartaches that they have?
Let me tell you something. The one thing that helps me to actually forgive, one, of course, is to ask God to help me to forgive. Because by my own strength, I can't.
Of course.
Yeah?
So
God
you
has to
can't
help
forgive
me.
by your own strength.
No, I can't. I can't. Yes. The human in me wants to do something
But there are people who don't even
and
believe.
wants to
There are
revenge.
people who don't even believe in that power of God to help them.
And that's the
They
saddest
know
part.
that God can do other things, but God cannot give that power in the inside of their souls to be able to overcome this. Because there are people who have
does.
tried to pray and read the Bibles, but they are still going through this pain.
Yes.
Yeah. What are they supposed to do? And how does someone even identify that you are dying inside?
Yeah. So for me, the first thing is first you have to allow God to work through you. Yeah. Then you also have to remember, have you been in a position, have you offended other people? Yeah. Are you selfish to think that just because someone else has offended you, you can't forgive? You get? You see, when you do the Father's prayer, you say, forgive us as we forgive those who sin against us. What are you saying? That this sin is too big for me to forgive. But me, I have been forgiven by someone else and by God himself. When he said it is finished and said he's taken away my sins and my iniquities.
That's for you
So,
who knows that.
Yeah.
How about the person who doesn't know that bit
Yeah.
and they're really hurting and aching inside of their hearts?
It's amazing. Even the
Do
people
we
who...
let them go and commit suicide?
No. It's amazing even the people who are not born again. They still pray. Do you realize that?
I think so.
They still pray and they still say, God help me.
Yeah.
Which God? But you see, God is always a graceful God. He still
He
steps
hears-
in
He hears even
and says,
those
my
who-
child, what can I do for you? Because Jesus came for the world. He came for the sinners.
Yeah.
He didn't just come for you and me who know him. He came for the sinners. And you see, it's an opportunity for you to get to know God and get to know that it only takes God for you to be emotionally stable, especially in a situation where it is too painful and the betrayal is too much. It only takes God for you to let go.
Winning forgiveness
Yes.
is really difficult.
It is.
You've given the example of the sister who takes the other
Yes.
sister's boyfriend.
Yes.
So these people have gone, they've moved on in life, but you were still hurting. They have married, they probably have children.
Yes.
You're still hurting. How do you get out of this place? What is the process? You know, do you just wake up one morning and say, I'm not going to think about it anymore. I am done with this story. I'll move on with my life also, and it will never happen to me again. What's the guarantee that first, it will not happen to you again?
Yeah. One of the things is make a conscious decision to celebrate them. Make a conscious decision to recognize that they have weaknesses,
I
and
think
you
by
also
that,
have
you
weaknesses.
really must be out of yourself.
Yes. Yes.
You must
have to be
really out of
deliberate.
yourself.
You have to be deliberate.
And
Yes.
intentional.
And very
Yes,
intentional.
that means you get out of yourself.
Yes.
To
Stop
make
being
such
selfish.
kind of a decision.
Stop being selfish and think too much about your pain. Yes. Don't always just focus on you. Let me tell you, unforgiveness
So
is
that
also
you
a
meet
selfish
them.
venture.
So you meet them,
Yes.
and hi sister, and you
Yes.
hug. How are you?
And
How are
letting
your
them know,
children?
I mean, the
And you
process
have not
of
been
letting you
married.
go. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And you know, it's amazing because,
What does that do to them?
oh, it hurts
To
them.
the victim?
It does hurt them.
Hurt?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
They hurt you.
Have
Why
you
should
ever,
they be hurt?
has someone ever hurt you and you actually forgive them and you still do good to them and it reminds them, oh my God, why did I hurt her? You know, dawaya? When someone hurts you, actually, the right medicine is be good to them. Repay evil with good.
Is that possible?
It's very possible.
Is that practical?
Yes, it takes the
Really?
strength of God and the wisdom of God for you to do that.
So
It might
someone
not
has
happen immediately. That's
Someone
the
has to
challenge.
teach you. Someone has to teach you that wisdom.
Yes,
Yeah. Someone
yes,
has to teach you
yes.
that wisdom.
And that
'Cause you
wisdom
don't wake up.
comes from the word and spending time around the right people. Because if you spend time on the word and go spend time with negative people, they erase every word.
So practically what you're saying is that when you have such kind of a situation
Yeah.
where you have lots of things in your heart to deal with, you're really hurting, then you need to share with someone.
Yes.
You need to seek for counsel
Yes.
so that you are guided on what to do. Because if you're only going to follow your heart and what you feel, then you're going to kill.
Yeah. Yeah, you're going to
Right.
kill.
Yes,
Exactly.
you're going to kill.
Exactly.
And these things are going to weigh you so much down that you will not be able to move.
Exactly.
And the unfortunate bit is that when you are here hurting, the other person is enjoying and moving on with life.
Exactly.
And I think that hurts more.
Yeah. And that's why you need to repay evil with good, and you become that better person who then recognizes that this person is not perfect. I am not perfect. So you have this equilibrium where you're saying, we are all both not perfect. But how do I become the bigger person? By forgiving you and asking God to help me to be kind to you.
Getting to that place
Yes.
is what I think is
Is
not
the
an
hardest.
easy thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is.
Getting to that point where you esteeming others better than
you.
yourself.
Exactly.
And getting to that place where you think, okay, you wronged me, but I'm going to take the first step, you know, and be the one who comes to embrace you and repay you good, you know, with the evil, repay you with good things for the evil that you did, you know. It's really a process. I don't know who can actually do that and where someone can get that strength.
Let me tell you something. When you, right now I'm thinking, for example,
Yes.
yeah, my mind is full of thoughts, yeah, and for me to exercise those thoughts and translate them into action, I have to have pondered over them for a while.
Okay.
You get? But how do I renew my mind? By the word of God. How do I deal with my negative thoughts when I see her and I'm thinking, I want to kill her? Oh my God, she did this to me. I want to do this to her. But when I condition my mind to think about what Christ did for me and what God said, repay evil with good, become that bigger person.
Does everyone have that ability?
Yes. If
Everyone
you have Christ,
has that
if you
ability?
have Christ, He has given you the ability.
Because if we all did have that ability, there will be no cases of
No.
murder,
Yes.
you know.
No cases of murder, no
Yeah.
cases of infidelity, no cases of, yeah,
There will be no such kind of suicidal
Yes.
events,
yes,
you know, in our lives.
yes.
But I think there is a gap. There is a gap. There's a space that needs to be filled up so that this awareness is made to the people.
Yeah.
That those who do not have that capacity and ability get to have it. Yeah. Because if this was the case, would probably and honestly not have such kind of cases. Who is going to fill this gap?
So who's going to fill this gap? So assuming someone does not know God and has not, because the word of God is our instruction for life.
Yeah.
You know, God is the one who guides us and tells us this is how you handle a situation.
Yes.
You know, if you find yourself stuck somewhere, back to the word.
Yeah.
But for those who do not know God, yeah, like I said, some will just say, oh, God, help me, please.
Yeah.
How do I deal with this? And
Where
God
do they- what do they
definitely
subscribe
steps
to?
in,
Yes.
you know. Others will go talk to people they honor, like parents, like big brothers, like sisters.
Yeah.
They'll talk to someone. So owe unto you if you get someone who advises you wrongly. Yeah?
And blessed
And
are
lucky
you if you get
exactly, if you find someone who actually gives you the right advice. But I
I know
always
we
say the
talk
power,
about-
the power of positivity. People who are positive doesn't mean they don't have negative thoughts. They do, but they don't let the negative thoughts control
Overrule.
them.
I know.
You get?
Yes.
They
I think
focus on the
biggest
positive.
issue then will be,
Yeah.
where do I meet with these right people? And that can be a discussion that will take us out of the show, you know, to discuss how do I meet with this right person? How do I meet with this right parent who is going to walk me through this lesson of life
Yeah.
that is very key,
Yeah.
that chooses to either give me hope or happiness, helps me to move on, or drags me back in my life, you know. I also want to get you back to what you had mentioned earlier about marriage,
Yes.
you know.
Yes.
So your husband or wife has cheated on you, and you have had a discussion, and you have said, okay, I've forgiven you. I don't know whether it's true
Or will you
forgiveness
forget?
or I have forgiven you.
Yeah.
So what happens when they get back to it again?
You know, it's very interesting, and these are the times when people take forgiveness for granted, to be honest. and we were just talking about repenting and you know, saying, I will not do it again.
Yeah.
No, really turning away from that thing that's
Yeah.
really been
Is
your
repentance
weakness.
standing away from actions?
If you look, if we we delink it from the definition in the Bible, let's just talk about repentance. You know, the Oxford Dictionary, you know.
Oh, I thought it was a biblical word.
No, let's talk about repentance.
No problem.
From an Oxford Dictionary point of view.
Go ahead.
So when you forgive someone, and marriage is a very sensitive institution. It's actually a covenant between two people before God.
I know.
When someone goes out of marriage, out of the marriage bed and defiles it, yeah? In fact, forgiving them the first time, oh my God, it's amazing. It takes God. It takes the grace of God for you to even look at them and say, you know, you're still my husband, I honor you, you know, I respect you. But what if they do now start to take you for granted? They do it the second time, the third time. You see, you had forgotten the second one, the first one. Yeah? The pain is there. Yeah? The second time, the pain becomes even bigger.
Yes.
The third time becomes even bigger.
You feel like you have been cheated. And not just being cheated as a wife, but even your emotion, everything about
it's
you.
Betrayal.
Yes,
of the
it's
highest
betrayal.
level.
Betrayal,
It
that's
is.
the word.
And you see, amazingly, the Bible talks about divorce. And it says, only in cases of adultery. Why does it allow? And for me, that's a question I always ask God. Why did you allow divorce only in cases of adultery? Because...
So in adultery, we're not supposed to forgive?
You are supposed to forgive.
You are supposed to forgive.
But you see, like I said, someone is taking you for granted. You've reached ETC. You know, the end of thinking capacity. You cannot take it anymore.
Ahead.
You are risking your life, the life of your children, with diseases, with, I don't know.
Yes. Are you supposed to forgive at that level? I really want to hear, because I am so sure someone is at that end of the road, no road ahead. That's their exact position, and they're waiting to hear.
Yeah.
What are you going to tell them?
To be honest, this is a covenant between you and your husband. And only God can change a man.
Okay.
That's my belief. You can never change a man.
So you continue to hang on?
Continue to pray. Continue to pray. And for me, I would say, trust God to change your man, but keep away from any risky situations. Don't risk your family. So let's say, for example, if he's beating you mercilessly, for example, and your life is at risk.
That's debatable.
And your life is at risk. Yeah? Talk to your spiritual leaders. Talk to people who will help you.
Yes,
I think find a solution.
One. Yes, speak it out.
Yeah,
you know, Go seek for counsel.
Yes,
the right advice.
Yes,
yes. When this is happening, don't wait until there's no road
it's too
ahead.
late.
Yes,
because I've seen cases. A number of cases.
Yes.
In a few situations, I've supported people. I've seen cases where the man ends up hurting the woman to the extent that she's bedridden. Yeah?
Yes.
Likely is, what if it became a fatal situation?
Really, just right there, when you're bedridden, this man comes again
and asks
for
like, forgiveness?
I'm so sorry, darling. Please, should you forgive?
Let me tell you something. Like you say, talk to someone, but also ask Christ for wisdom. To be honest, if you know God, ask him for wisdom. For direction.
I really wish we had a pastor. I really wish we had a pastor. Because then he will tell us how God in that scenario would handle this issue. What would be the guidance of God in such a case where someone has beaten you that you're almost written off?
Mercilessly.
You're bedridden and is coming to ask you for forgiveness. What is the assurance that they will not do it again?
Forgiveness does not mean that, Betty, you have betrayed me to the highest level. Forgiveness does not mean that, Betty, me and you still continue being friends.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah? It simply just means,
so if friends
I've gotten Betty out of my heart. I have forgiven her. But you know what? She's not walking in my path. I've got to choose a different path. Yes.
Is that forgiveness?
For me, that is forgiveness.
Because if you and I were buddies and I cheated you for something and actually took away your phone or your handbag, you know, and then I disappeared for the longest period, and one time I resurface, and we have this conversation, and you're like, I have forgiven you, I have set you free, then in my opinion, we should continue the path, the previous.
Forgiveness doesn't have to come with reconciliation.
Really?
Yes.
So
That's
reconciliation
my
is
understanding.
when we get
Yes.
back to
Reconciliation
the norm.
means you get back into the exact
Yes.
relationship you were in.
Yes.
But you see, there are situations where wisdom demands that forgive, love, but part ways.
But you see, in this case, because I'm thinking of the sister you had mentioned,
Yes.
and now they have gotten back together, they have forgiven each other. They are still family members. How do you quit
That's
the
different.
family?
That's different. Remember, first,
How do you quit the family?
You can't, because you're already
can't.
bonded in blood.
Yes,
You're
you already
bonded.
bonded.
Yes.
So are you going to get along as by virtue of being in the same family, but not your hearts getting united?
No, when it comes to family, and because that's a bond that God has already created by
Okay.
blood, it's very different. Yeah? So when you talk about reconciliation, as a family setup, for you to be one, you have to reconcile. You have to forgive.
Their sisters
Followed
who
by
don't
a
talk to
process.
each other.
No.
Winnie, do you live
Then-
in this world? There are sisters who don't talk to each other. There are brothers
possible,
who
yeah.
kill each other. There are also children who kill their parents. And there are parents who kill their
Then
children. And
that's sad.
not for sudden occurrences, but
Something that has
for
been
things they have been brewing for
slowly.
the longest time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Then that
they have
means
been waiting
bitterness,
to seize that
anger
moment.
has been brewing
Exactly.
and taking over.
Exactly.
Then that means there was no forgiveness.
Because if your parents took you to school and your sister or brother was never taken to school,
Yeah.
now she's ended up without a job and you're well-to-do and you're not even supporting them in any way, they are both bitter towards you and also towards your parents.
Yeah.
So one day, as they see life events turning around, they'll be like, oh my God,
She's
if
the reason.
only Winnie did not come up to take up my place, I would be in this position, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
So she's been cooking and brewing this thing for the longest time.
Yeah.
And then how do you want to sit her down and tell her, you know what, you have to let go? And how does she get up one morning and
Yeah.
come to you, Winnie? By the way, I've had this thing in my heart, and today I wanted to put a stop to it. Is that how it happens?
So first, and being a born-again Christian, I
Yeah.
always say the first place is the place of pray for them. Pray for them. And if
To be able to
there's-
overcome.
Yes. And if there's a way you can fill that gap, try and fill it. Because you're at a better place, for example. Try and fill that gap. Try and show them love. Because if God has put you on that pedestal, then God expects you to lift others. And first you start from home. Charity begins at home.
Yeah.
So if they blame you, be selfless and ask God to help you to be selfless and help them.
You know, getting selfless when you are the one at the top here also takes another kind of wisdom.
Yes.
Because you can easily say that, you know what, it's not my problem. It wasn't my money, you know. My parents preferred
It was
me.
their choice, yeah.
Yes. They preferred me to you, you know. And so there's nothing wrong I have done. You could actually keep that stance and be like, my hands are clean. I have done no one any evil.
Yeah.
And so I'll live my life. There's no curse that will
Yeah.
land on me, you know. So this person also need greater counsel more than the person hurting,
Exactly.
you know.
Exactly.
They need a better and a higher mindset to help them stoop low to this level of this person and say, what? I get what you feel. I know what you're going through.
It's true.
Yeah.
And you know, it's quite unfortunate that to him much is given, much is required.
Yes.
You know, so if you find yourself in a position where you're here and you're fighting with people down here, most of the time you're always wrong, to be honest.
Most of the time.
And everyone, you know,
I
the
agree.
spectators will
I
be
agree.
like, it's you're the problem.
Yes.
Come on, deal with
Yes.
it. Bridge this gap.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yes.
So if you find yourself in that position, humility with Christ's help is what you need for
I
you to
think
come down
that- I get
and
you, Winnie.
try and without losing yourself and without losing the God in you.
And I hope that whoever is watching us,
Yeah.
who is in that position, can actually gain that wisdom
Yeah.
to be the one who
The help of
comes
Christ, yeah.
down, you know, to be the one who comes down to rescue these people.
Yes.
Because they need to understand the pain of the people down here,
Exactly.
their anguish and the way they're so much lost into the whole thing. They're only holding on to that one bit that if it were not for you,
I
there
wouldn't
would
be
be,
here.
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. There are people who are killing their parents.
Because of what?
They were not given land, someone was given.
Oh,
They were not given any form of inheritance, other people were given. And some people were given more than
Than
they were
others.
given, you know. Some of them just have minor and petty issues according to their own judgment that is not true and verified.
That reminds me of the story of Joseph. Remember Joseph in Genesis, Joseph, Jacob's younger son.
Yes.
And Joseph was loved by his father. And one of the things I've come to realize is the likelihood of a parent having a favorite is very high.
Yeah.
It's
does
very
happen.
high. It's realistic.
Parents deny. Parents
They
deny.
deny,
Oh, they're all
but
my
it's true. They
children.
have a
How do I have
favorite. You know, that
It's
person
true.
that will ask for 10,000, you don't have, you'll go to Mshwari. You know, but someone else will ask and you definitely won't bother.
You
Yeah,
know,
they
when
do
you're talking
have.
about Jacob, what I'm just remembering is that Jacob and Esau were brothers,
Yeah.
like you said. And so Esau is the hardworking one. He has gone hunting,
yes.
you know, he has gone to work. Imagine as a mother or a father, you have these two sons. One is always out there really toiling
so hard.
to bring something home. And the other one is just around the mother in the kitchen, you know, Mom, have you cooked? Mom, what are you doing? You know, doing nothing. Sincerely, even you, your heart, who just want to bless Esau and not bless Jacob.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
But he sold his inheritance. That's the problem.
that's the problem.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. He sold his inheritance. So if you look at, you know, our God is a fair God. Let's be honest. And there are things we've lived to accept. Yeah. God doesn't have favorites. God loves
God
all of
doesn't
us
have.
equally.
God doesn't have.
Yeah.
So parents are so wrong
Yeah.
when they have favorites. Are they so wrong? Is it
Um,
natural?
I wouldn't know.
Because this is one of the greatest causes of grudges in the family.
Yeah.
That someone picks up and they get to isolate themselves with this notion that I'm never accepted. You know, you need your dad needs to do something and he says, let Winnie do that. You go fetch water, let Winnie go to the supermarket.
Some of the reasons I actually see why parents, and sometimes it's really not favorites. Actually, that's not the right word. It could be you're probably three siblings.
Preferences.
Yeah? And your parents look at the three of you like, oh, this one will make it. This one, you know.
Yeah. They judge
They're
you
tough.
according to,
This one is not very tough. I need to lift them a bit.
yes.
This one is in the middle. This is what I need to do. So sometimes you feel like they do too much for this other person. They feel like needs a push.
Yes.
So the other person who's already pushing themselves, they feel like, why wasn't I pushed
No
the way this one was
concentration on
being
me.
pushed?
Yeah.
You know. And sometimes it doesn't mean they love the other one better.
I know.
But it just means this other one needs them more than you need them. And you see, in that place, you start to create jealousy
I hope someone understands that very clearly.
and parents need to explain it to their children.
I hope that someone understands that very clearly.
Yeah.
Because the reason they grow up with this kind of bitterness and unforgiveness
Yeah.
is because that is what they looked, thought,
Yeah.
and
Perception.
and built in their hearts.
Exactly.
You know, which was very wrong.
Yeah.
Which was very wrong.
Yeah.
You just saw your parents try to connect more to one person, and what you thought is that they have neglected you and they're
Or they don't
concentrating
love you
more.
at all.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you're saying it's because they wanted to uplift the weakness. They discovered a weakness in the other person.
They know all
and they
of
needed
you.
to give them a push up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They know all of you. They know your weaknesses. They know your strengths. And they know who needs them in what area.
Yeah.
And most of the time, you find that in every family, there's that person who's just a go-getter. You know.
Yeah.
and you probably have no space to allow your parents to come in
Yeah.
to help you in the go-getting. You get? So you actually distance yourself because you're fine. You're self-contained.
Yes.
But there's someone who's highly dependent on daddy and
I
mommy.
know, I
And so you
know.
think because she's always getting 150,000, 1 million, you because you don't
This
get
is the
anything,
reason, yeah.
you think they don't love you. But it probably is not about love. It's probably about who needs me. The prodigal son, yeah? The one who was at home. He had everything.
Yeah.
The one who came back after eating with the pigs, he came back. He still was given the gowns
Accepted.
and was accepted. And there was
And if I remember that story very well, the first son was so mad
He was
at the
complaining.
fact that the father is giving such a welcoming home
Yeah.
to the son who had gone to just waste
who had taken his
wealth.
inheritance and
yes,
gone. Yeah.
yes. He was so
But
mad.
he forgot that he was already with his father and he was enjoying the wealth of his father and every
He didn't know.
privilege.
Did he know?
He forgot that.
Did he know?
Because he was already enjoying the privileges of being his father's son.
Did he even know? Because
He
I
was
think
blinded.
this, these Bible stories
Yes.
are so practical also
Yes,
in
yeah.
our normal family.
Yeah.
Because it happens also to people in a society today
Yes.
that somebody has gone. In your own opinion, they went too early, like younger siblings who get married earlier.
Yeah.
You realize they are done for everything they need, and then they go and waste their lives, and then they're back home, and you're still here, and you feel like no one has been concerned about you. No one has been concerned about
focus
whether
has
you're
been on
getting
them.
married or not, you see? And so you get so bitter, You get so bitter, not even about to your parents, but you get bitter with who? You get bitter with your parents. We are actually getting out of time, but there's
Okay.
one thing I wanted
Yes.
you to talk about.
Yes.
The in-laws. When you get married and your husband is more supportive to your parents and your other sister's husband are not supportive, and so parents also tend to give more attention to where they're receiving from, and this also causes a lot of unforgiveness and causes also a lot of grudges in the family, where someone thinks, they just love your family because you always do this and this. Your father has this project and they think so and so is the one who's going to handle it and not the other. What are these people supposed to, what is the right way for the parents to handle this?
One of the things is most of the time we actually solve the symptoms.
Exactly.
And I always say when you're solving a problem, because there is a problem there, to be honest. When you're solving a problem, you have to do what we call a root cause analysis. Dig deeper.
Yeah.
What is causing all this
Yeah.
disconnections? What is causing these feelings and perceptions? I'm
Because
feeling
you
this
should
way
be
and that
happy.
way.
You should be happy that
What
you're
is
many
causing
and
it?
someone is helping.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should
What
be
is
happy.
causing it? You have to dig deeper.
Yeah.
And you have to be open-minded. That whatever you find, you have to be able to deal with it objectively.
Okay.
Yeah? So if you find that the others are feeling like you're taking care of the others more than the others, then you need to find a balance and you need to create and manage that perception. Because to be honest, family issues, we lose a lot on perception. It's what we think is happening, and it's probably not what's happening. It's like the family situation I was giving. This is where the help is needed the most. But because the others have not asked for help, it feels like you're helping these ones more, you're concentrated on them, you love them better, but it's not really the true position.
Okay.
So you have to dig deeper to understand what is really happening and what can I do about it.
Okay. Please give us your parting shot as we end the show today.
Yeah, for me, when I talk about forgiveness, it's actually freeing yourself from the pain of life. Freeing yourself from that which is holding you from becoming a better you, from exploring the potential that God has put in you. Because when you're in forgiveness, you're walking in bitterness, you're walking in pain, and there is no way a person filled with pain can excel in life.
True.
It will be short-lived. Because the blessings of the Lord maketh rich and add no sorrow. So you can't live in sorrow and be blessed. You have to let go of the sorrow.
Good.
Yeah.
Thank you, Winnie. That has really been awesome.
Thank you.
And I hope that you have enjoyed as well being
Thank
here.
you.
Thank you, viewer. It has been lovely to have you on the show watching us. I hope that you have been able to let go of the grudges that you are holding against your family members. And parents, I also hope that you've been able to learn the secret. Check on the other people. Why are they the way they are? Take a step back and find out how you could solve their problem. It has been nice to have you. My name is Betty Akuku. I've been your host. See you next time.